Chapter 2, from John's point of view. Years I've been here. Since I was 7 years old. I've never left this room. Locked away. Isolated. It's been years since I felt the wind against my face, the grass beneath my feet, the mud, the rain, even the sunlight. It's been so long. My room has no windows, and nothing to keep me entertained. Only a bed. That's all I have. A bed and a door. But the door was always locked from the outside. Only doctors or nurses could come in. I dread every time that door opens, as I know it's nothing good. When I first came, I thought it meant food. No food. Came through the small hatch at the bottom of the door. If that opens, there's food. If the entire door opens, there's trouble. To be honest, I'm surprised I haven't gone insane. I haven't left this room when I first came in here. I was allowed out a few times, but that ended well for a few people, so they keep me locked away. It's always driving me nuts. I thought that maybe I could become close to a few people, start a rebellion, when we get a chance, but not even that is possible now. Although I did make one friend. Her name was Sakura, but that's all I know about her. Her name. She won't tell me anything else. I've asked. She won't tell me her last name, who she is, why she's here, even how old she is. She just won't say. But the weird thing is, it's not she refuses to verbally refuses to answer me. She just doesn't answer me at all. Nothing. Silence. Just goes completely silent. I don't even know what she looks like. I asked her to describe herself one time, but she said she's forgotten. Maybe she doesn't have a mirror in her room. I don't have one. We talked through a small air vent in the wall of my room, although it's very low to the floor and very small, so I have to at least sit on the ground in order to talk to her. John! Hey, you there? I hear a whisper from the corner of my room, jumping off my bed. I scurry across the floor, sliding towards the wall, stopping and crouching towards the vent. Sakura, is that you? I call. I couldn't help but smile. It's thanks to her that I haven't completely lost my mind. Having someone to talk to really helps, even though I can't see their face. Yeah, it's me. Good to hear your voice again, John. After what they did to you last, I thought you'd be unconscious for days. I sighed at her words, but she was right. The doctors here, they keep experimenting on me more and more, in some ways, torturing me, just to get me to talk. They believe I'm hiding the secret behind my ability. That's not true at all. There's no secret behind it. I don't even know I have it. I just do. Yeah, I know. But it's good to hear your voice too, I hear them. They're coming. They're making their way to your room, John. She suddenly panics and interrupting me mid-sentence. You hear them? What do I do? Sakura! Sakura! My heart rate increased. Every time she tells me they're coming, my fear level jumps higher and higher. She was like my warning alarm, giving me time to prepare. The door suddenly opened, slamming against the wall. I couldn't help but gasp as I huddled myself into the corner, hiding away. There! Grab him! A man along in a long white lab coat ordered as he pointed in my direction. There were 5 people, him and the other 4, who rushed over and grabbed me, all of them wearing some sort of mask. No, get off me! No more, please! This will all end if you tell us how you have this power. I told you, I don't know! I screamed and desperately struggled to get out of their grip. This was the first time in years since I've been removed from the room. They would usually experiment on me in my room, so the fact they were taking me somewhere else only made me panic more. Although I got to see the room Sakura was in as we passed, but I was confused. Her door locked just like mine, but she had no number. Mine, for example, was 6126, but she didn't have one. All the other doors I was dragged past had numbers. What does that mean? Why doesn't she have one? Sakura! It wasn't long before we had reached the room with a large black door. It took 2 men to open it. The other 2 continued to hold me as the 5th guy stood and watched. Once they were open, the man began to push me inside. I, of course, was not going to let that happen. I plant my feet as firm to the ground as possible, pushing back against them. No, I'm not going in. I refused, but the fifth man just chuckles, walking over and standing in front of me. Sorry, 6126. You don't have a choice this time.
Sorry, I didn't.
The other two men returned from opening the door fully and grabbed hold of me, helping to drag me into the room. I thrashed as much as possible, clawing at them with my own grown nails caused by the lack of hygiene maintenance. The room was dull with a few dim lights that flickered overhead, but once I sat on the operating bed, the room lit up brightly, so much so that I had to squint my eyes shut, which was a mistake. By shutting my eyes, I was no longer able to watch the men around me. By the time my eyes were open again, they had already finished restraining my ankles and wrists to the straps. Even one wrapped my neck to hold down my head. My breathing increases more and more, almost as a pant, as my eyes frantically look around. But I suddenly let out a gasp as the bed starts to change positions to slightly upright, almost like the dentist chair. Watching as the man approaches me, leaning his face towards mine. Now then, 6126. Today is going to be the same procedure as last. You're going to answer some questions. If you don't cooperate, you'll get a slight sock. For example, he leans back, grabbing a large lever, pulling it down. My entire body arches in pain, and my voice bellows out as electricity is flooded through me, to eventually come to a stop, by which I was completely out of breath, gasping for air. I guess you must have a few questions of your own. Why did we bring you here, rather than staying in your room? Well, I shall answer. You see, the bed you're strapped to has a multi-purpose restraints and are rigged to this machine that sent impulses to you just now. But we also have this. He says that he holds the device in his hand. It looks something older, from the older times. They used on mental patients to try and cure them. But it's not used anymore. How did he have it? It looked like a cross between a stethoscope and headphones. We place a solution on either side of your temples. Place this on your head like so, and administer a little shock. But that is only used as punishment. Punishment for what? I yell as I grind my teeth, hissing as I sucked air in, harshly trying to steady my breath. 6126, you must remember what happened in your last lesson. You tried to manipulate one of your doctors to kill himself. Can't have that happening again, shall we? So, tell me, the power of yours. You use it through your eyes. I stare at him angrily. I so badly want to kill him. Him and all his minions scatter around the room. But my lack of answers only caused electricity to be sent coursing through my body. The buzzing sound machine masks my screams of pain. How do you do it? It is with your eyes, yes. How do you do it? I told you! I don't know. I had it since birth. I just don't know. The doctor interrupts me by placing a rubber plate in between my mouth, forced me to clamp my teeth onto it. What is he doing? I begin to hyperventilate as he begins to apply the odd solution to my temples. I tried to talk, but he just held my mouth closed. My breathing was in overload as my fear level hit maximum. Before I could even react to his words, the device was placed on my head, and the electricity was spiraling to my temples. It was so painful, weakening and draining me of all the energy by the second. Once the pain was over and the machine was switched off, I gave the doctor a furious look. What? Oh, you just reminded me. He suddenly grabs my jaw harshly, holding my head still as he drips liquid into my left eye. Only the left eye, causing a horrible stinging sensation. He chuckles. Leaning away and placing what seemed to be dark glasses over his eyes, the rest of the men doing the same, watching as he walks over to some sort of power box. For the final part, those eyes drops were for this, he yells as he puts another lever. The room illuminates with light, so bright, but that wasn't the worst part. It seemed that light reacted with the solution in my eye, and it started to burn. It felt as if my left eye was literally on fire. The rubber plate falls from my mouth onto the floor as I scream in absolute agony, begging them to stop, turn it off. They just keep going and going. Eventually I felt nothing. My screaming stopped. I was so weak, I could barely move. The doctor switched off the blinding light, removed his glasses, rushing over, instantly inspecting my eyes. Excellent, just as we predicted. Only the left eye was affected by the light. The right eye is completely normal. The pupil reflects to my torch pin light as normal, but the left eye won't react at all. Even the iris has changed to a gray color, almost like a color has been burnt away. Extraordinary. Sorry for my enthusiasm, but sadly we aren't interested in your power this time. I lied. That's for a few weeks' time to come. We were actually testing a new experimental method. You were a great test subject. Sorry about the eye. He chuckles evilly. I could almost picture the evil smile behind his mask. But I was too tired and too weak. The world around me faded to darkness, and I fell unconscious.